Hi class, welcome to iCOM 375 Digital Storytelling. I'm your instructor, Megan McNames. You can call me Megan. I'm an instructor of journalism and digital media. I've actually been teaching in the Department of Journalism since 2008, and I've been teaching in the digital media minor since 2009, although last year was my first year as a full-time faculty member in the Department of Journalism. And my background is in design and journalism. So I started out as a journalistic storyteller. I was a reporter and a writer working for Gannett, which is the nation's largest newspaper owner, and I also have a background in design. So right now I focus on digital design. Outside of Ball State, I work on product design, typically for the mobile space. But these are the classes that I teach. I'm not going to go through them all each one by one, but I typically teach design. I teach design on the small or little d level, where I teach graphic design and layout. I also teach design on a larger or big D design level, where I teach design of systems and concepts and entire stories and ideas. So you're probably familiar with the distinction between those two things from some of your other digital media minor classes, so you know the difference between little d design, where you might design a page, and big D design, where you might design a new way of sharing baby photos or something like that. So let's talk about the course. This class combines elements of classical storytelling with the basic human-computer interaction design principles and processes. So basically this class is transmedia storytelling combined with interaction design. You're going to learn about transmedia storytelling in the first 6 weeks of the course, and then you're going to undertake a transmedia narrative project in which you design a transmedia story and implement it on the web. As far as design is concerned, you're going to implement the designs, and then you're going to walk through the interaction design process. So you're going to create ideas, you're going to do research, you're going to create alternatives, prototype, and you're going to end the class by testing your design and then refining the design based on your tests. So the human-computer interaction design process should be familiar for most of you, but if not, we will have a refresher in week 6. So you can expect to complete the following types of activities in this class. You'll be doing a great deal of writing. You'll also be doing ideation, a fancy word for brainstorming. And brainstorming, you will learn, is not the free for all, do whatever you want sort of exercise mess that you may have heard of before. We're going to create collaborative documents where we come up with ideas and work off of each other's ideas. So we'll go over kind of how to conduct ideation. You're going to have a project in which you complete teamwork, and we're going to rely heavily on group collaboration. So you will be sharing what you create in this class not only with the other person on your team, but with the rest of the class. You're going to be sketching, user testing, and creating reporting elements or deliverables. So one thing I want you to get out of this course is how to create professional deliverables. When you design, when you tell stories in the real world with real clients, they expect updates about your progress. So in this class, you're going to update me about your progress on your transmedia narrative project, where you create a transmedia story by creating these reports and deliverables. And there's clear instructions on what all of the reports should be like. These need to be professional. I don't want scribbles. I don't want little notes. I don't want half-baked thoughts. Your reports should be something that you could actually give to a client in the real world. I want you to learn how to share your ideas with others who may not be familiar with them, and how to discuss the progress of your design project. The course consists of the following components. You are going to be writing learning documents. There are instructions online. We'll get to that in a second. You'll have group meetings. You'll write case studies. You'll have a transmedia narrative project, which is worth about half of the credit in this class. This is not a final grade. You see the transmedia narrative project is 360 points. You earn those points as you go throughout the process, so these points are built through weekly assignments. So this is not a just get it done type assignment. You need to go through the interaction design process, which means you need to follow the weekly structure. Finally, in lieu of an exam, you have an individual post-mortem. So let's look at these in more detail. The learning documents. Some of you may be familiar with these from your other digital media courses. These are structured writing assignments in which you critically analyze the readings. This means that learning documents require citation of all of the readings and lecture videos for that week. Full instructions are found on Blackboard. You need to read these instructions before you complete the document. If you do not read the instructions fully, it will be immediately clear to me and you will not do well on the assignment. These assignments are not journaling exercises, so you are not writing a learning document about how much you liked a reading. I don't really care if you liked the reading or not. What I care about is whether you can understand the reading, whether you can articulate the theories in the reading, whether you can pick apart the theory in the reading and use other research to determine the validity of the theories. So this is an academic exercise. Again, read the full instructions. The nice thing about these assignments is that they use mastery learning, which means you are going to write until you get it right. So you have to meet deadlines. The first time the learning document is due, it's due. If you don't give me a learning document when it's due, then you're done. You just opted out of the learning document. If you do write a full learning document, but it's not well written or it misses some obvious components, I will leave feedback for you and you will have a chance to rewrite. So if your learning document shows that you do not understand the theory or you are not capable of critically analyzing it in an academic fashion, you will have a second try. And then beyond that, if you need more tries, you get more tries. But again, I need the initial document. If you miss a learning document, if you blow through it, you don't get to rewrite it because you never wrote it. So just keep in mind that these learning documents are serious and you need to get them in the first time that they're due. Group meetings. You will be required to attend group hangouts at various points throughout the semester. I will always give you a link to sign up at least a week in advance and let you know when the meeting is, at least at the end of the week before the meetings start the next week. These groups are not consistent. The groups change based on availability, so it's not like you'll always have to meet with the group Wednesdays at 7. At 7, you'll always tell me when you're available, and I'll build groups based on availability, but that means that sometimes the groups will change. So your group meeting is not your project team in the beginning of the class. It's other students who are signing up to meet at the same time as you. You will conduct case studies. So after you've written a learning document, explaining the theories that you're reading about, you will create a case study that shows you can understand how the theories are used in a real-world example. And instructions for each of these are detailed every time a case study is due. Typically, you have a learning document 1 week and then a case study. And then we move to a different topic. And you have a learning document and then a case study. You also will have a transmedia narrative project. This is your big project for the course. Again, it's worth half of the credit in the course. In teams of 2, you will ideate, which again is brainstorming, plan and design a transmedia narrative. Full instructions are detailed in the syllabus and instructions tab on Blackboard. You will turn in a resume and story ideas, and you can review the resumes and story ideas of others in order to pick a partner. So I will not be assigning these groups randomly. You all will turn in a resume and story ideas, and others will be able to look at your resume and story ideas, and you'll submit first, second, and third choices for who you want to be your partner in this class. So my best suggestion here is just believe in yourself, know what your skills are. Don't turn in a junky resume just because you have to turn something in. Really create a resume for this class. Create a resume that you think speaks to the skills you bring to transmedia narrative design. Don't just grab something from a couple years ago and throw it up on the site. If you turn in a junky resume, the only person who will want to be your partner is someone else with a junky resume, and it will not go well. So please take this seriously. You'll have to do a little bit of marketing yourself. Really think about what your strengths are and make sure those are reflected in your resume so that other students understand your abilities. You want to find a partner who complements what you can do, someone who doesn't do the exact same thing as you. So if you're a journalism graphics student, try not to be paired with another journalism graphics student. Find someone with other skills like video or maybe an English major who's a great storyteller. The story ideas, you will be able to see everyone else's story ideas, so you can try to find a partner who has the same sort of belief system as you. So if your story ideas all revolve around making the world a better place, you can try to find a partner whose story ideas also revolve around making the world a better place, and you can be united in your goals for the project. An example of a past transmedia narrative project is available under the Student Example tab on Blackboard. I do want to warn you that when this example was made, the groups were on campus. It was an on-campus class. at that time, and the groups were as large as 4 students. Now it's just 2. There's just 2 people on each team, and the reason we have fewer people on each team is because it's much harder to facilitate group work online. It's harder to meet on Google Hangouts if you have to schedule 4 people. It's much easier if you just have 2. So unlike the olden days of large groups, since you have small groups now, the balance is that you will not have to actually run your transmedia narrative. So in the example under the student example tab, that was a story that was actually put into place, and the students acted as the puppet masters. So there were students on that team whose job was to follow the audience and pull information from the audience members and keep the story moving. So you do not have to do that. You have fewer people on your team, but you have no responsibility as far as making the story actually happen. So that's the balance. You know, the team number is lower, but the running the narrative disappears, and you're actually creating a really high level prototype of the narrative, and so that takes a load off of you since you have fewer people. I do want to make it abundantly clear that I do still expect a high level of work in this class. I don't want to see you guys just slapping things together because something is due. I do expect professional level work in this class, and you'll notice on all of the rubrics that in order to receive an A in the class, your work has to be exceptional. Not everyone can be exceptional. That means most of you will not receive A's. So I do expect a high level of work in this class. Don't slap things together. Later in the video, I'll suggest choosing a story you actually care about that will help you not slap things together. But I do expect a high level of work. There's no sort of, oh, they're just a student in my mind. I do expect you to do work to a high level, just as you see in the student example. So as you look at that example, the things that you're impressed by, I want you to be able to do those same things and impress the students in this class in the same way. So I do have high expectations for what you make in this class. This is not sort of a let's try it out assignment. This is a let's do it right project. At the end of the semester, in lieu of an exam, you will have an individual post-mortem, which means you will write a detailed examination of your work in this course. Okay, quickly want to talk about Blackboard. Everything that you need for this class can be found on the Blackboard site. The requirements and deliverables for every week are clearly outlined both on the syllabus and in the weekly assignment section. Assignment uploaders close at noon the day the assignment is due. That's all there is to it. There are no late assignments, no exceptions. You need to get your assignments in by noon. If you are having a rough time getting these things done, if it's difficult each week for you to get the assignment done at noon, you've got something going on and it's taking up too much time, then you need to consider dropping the class. Everything is due at noon, and if I don't get it by noon, you just get a 0. That's all there is to it. So make sure you get everything in by noon. The Blackboard assignment uploader will close promptly at noon, so you need to get everything turned in before then. I'm not really going to revisit that. Just get everything in by noon. If I don't have an assignment from you, you get a 0. I want to draw your attention to the frequently asked questions forum on Blackboard. There's an F.A.Q tab. If you click it, it will take you to a forum with questions and answers from past semesters. There's one thread, for example, where someone asked what are the common mistakes that I see made by students in this course, and I answer it in that forum. So you may want to check that out before you start the class, and every now and then take a look at it because I will be updating it. If you'd like to post in that forum, it is set so that you may do so. You can post a question, you can post an answer, you can participate in that forum however you'd like. But I also will update it with questions that I get through email so that everyone can learn from other people's questions. I also want to draw your attention to the Facebook Critique Network. So Blackboard, unfortunately, is not great for collaborative work. It's very difficult as a student to see other students' work. So what I've done is I've scheduled critique and group sharing exercises throughout the course, but between those assignments, I found that students often want feedback on their ideas and designs. So at some point, I'll add you to the 375 Critique Network on Facebook, and you can post, share, and comment on each other's work there. It is not a graded component of the course. I hope that you all will be interested in using it to share what you're working on, or even just share interesting articles you find online that relate to the course. But social media research tells us that most people will not participate very heavily in that page, although they will read it. So I hope that you'll all take advantage of it. I certainly will be on there all the time. You know, anytime you post something, I'll get a notification. I'd be glad to leave some feedback or raise some questions about what you're working on. I hope others in the class will be interested in doing the same. This is what the network looks like right now. Again, I will add you to it at some point in this class before you get started on the transmedia narrative. So my office hours are virtual in this class. My office hours are from 1 to 4 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I will be on Skype at BSU McNames, and I'll be on GChat or Google Plus at megan.mcnames@gmail.com. During those office hours, feel free to just send me a message or send me a Hangout invite. You also can schedule appointments through doodle.com/McNames. In my opinion, this appointment scheduler is one of the underutilized features of my online courses. I am always happy to talk to you in a meeting about the course or about what you're working on. The difficulty with teaching a design class online is that so often design ideas come out of conversations. Conversations are where you start to think through your ideas and think about alternatives and think about how you might implement your ideas. So if you are stuck on something and you need to have a conversation about it, feel free to have a conversation with me and go to doodle.com/McNames and schedule a meeting, and we can talk through where you're stuck. We can talk through any questions that you have. I'm always happy to do so. It's typically my pleasure to see what you're working on and to provide some assistance to you. So don't be afraid to reach out to me. The only thing I ask with contacting me is that when you send an email to me at megan.mcnames@gmail.com or my Ball State address, mlmcnames@bsu.edu, please allow 24 hours for me to respond to your email. Most of the time I'll get your email pretty quickly, but I can't always respond right away, or I might be traveling or something like that and not see your email. So make sure I have enough time to get my response to you and enough time for you to take appropriate action. So if the assignments are due Friday at noon, don't send me an email Thursday night at 10. Send me an email at least by Thursday morning. That's still cutting it close. By Wednesday morning would be the best because you know you'll get a response by Thursday morning, and then you still have a day to take my advisement into consideration. That's everything I wanted to talk about for the course. I really look forward to working with you in this course and seeing what you come up with. Please don't hesitate to contact me with any questions or concerns. The only other thing I want to talk about is how to excel in this class. There are lots of rules for this class. Assignments are due at noon on Friday, and if I don't have your assignment by noon on Friday, you get a 0. Details for each assignment are clearly spelled out. If you do not include aspects of the assignment, you will get a 0. So it's very strict in a sense. There's a lot to do, it's on a strict schedule, and it's on a sort of strict system. This is because applying this strictness to your creativity is going to help you create something good. There's this sort of misconception that creativity is all about just having a good time and coming up with ideas and partying and good ideas will just hit you. And that's not the case. Creativity is the result of an effort that you put toward an idea. Okay, so the strictness is in the service of helping you take your ideas and mold them into something great. You'll notice in the rubrics for this course that in order to earn an A on assignments, you need to complete exceptional work. If you just do work that's average, it's fine, it's good, you're going to get a C or a B. You know, if it's average, it's C. If it's pretty good, you're going to get a B. If it's exceptional, you're going to get an A. Now, not everyone can be exceptional. Not everyone will be exceptional in this particular class with this particular topic. So if you want to do well in this class, you need to strive to be exceptional. You need to figure out how to take your ideas and your work and excel them and make them better. So you need to have an interest in, first of all, coming up with ideas you care about, and second of all, making it your mission to mold those ideas into the best form of those ideas. I always say nothing is ever done right the first time. Ernest Hemingway once said the first draft of anything is shit, and at least for me in my design process, that's always the case. I've never designed anything the first time that couldn't have been improved with more iterations. So if you want to do well in this class, you need to choose a topic you care about, tell a story you want to tell, and then have a commitment to telling that story in the best way possible. The only other thing I want to mention is that there are a lot of rules in this class. It is very strict, but the benefit is this freedom that you have to tell the stories that you want to tell. I'm giving you a lot to do, but I'm trusting you to do something great with it. And I know that if you apply yourself, you can do that. So I don't want you to create a story that you think I want to hear. I don't want you to create a story that you think I'm going to like. I want you to create a story that matters to you, that you can put some passion behind. It's only going to make your project better. And when I give you a critique, when other students give you a critique, understand that they're not cutting down your passion. They're not cutting down your design. They're trying to mold that passion into something exceptional, okay? So I really hope that in this class, you will have a commitment to yourself. You'll stay true to your values in terms of what kind of story you want to tell. Don't just make something because you think I'm going to like it. I'm not grading your assignments based on whether or not I like them. Your story is not graded on whether or not I like the story. There are plenty of transmedia narratives where I really don't like the story, but I can objectively look at those narratives and assess that they are strong narratives because they use the theories appropriately and because they were made with the appropriate process. So your grade in this class, especially on the transmedia narrative, is all about pushing yourself to make your ideas excel by going through the process correctly and by implementing the theories to the highest level. It's not about whether or not I subjectively like your story. I may even say to you, I don't really care for your story, but you're doing this well, or you're doing that well. It doesn't mean you need to change the story because I don't care for it subjectively. So pick something that you care about, something that you are willing to work with for 16 weeks in this course, that you're not going to just completely hate by the end of the semester. Don't try to impress me by doing something you think I'm going to like. You don't know what I'm going to like. If you try to make something that you think I'm going to like based on examples I've shown, you're going to end up with something that looks like the examples, and that's not interesting or impressive to me at all. That's not exceptional. So be true to yourself here. Don't try to impress me by doing what you think I'm going to like. I want you to take risks. I want you to have passion for what you make. I want you to care about what you make. I want you to leave this class excited to share with the world what you made and how you made it. I don't want you to leave this class feeling like, okay, I did that. I did the assignment the way she wanted. That's not what this program is about. So that's everything. I look forward to meeting you. For those of you who are in the class I haven't met before, I look forward to seeing you again if I've had you in class before. If you have any questions, send them my way. I would be glad to answer them. And good luck this week. I will see you shortly.